So November's over. Right. I thought what we would do today, November's gone. I hope y'all have had a hell of a hunting season so far. I feel like I have. I feel like I've had a pretty decent season. Got a good Tennessee Velvet. I mean, I got videos up. I got a good Kentucky buck. I've picked off quite a few does. I've had good success on public land. Haven't taken a public land buck yet this year. Had a killer shot on an 8 on a private farm. Let's see. I hunted Missouri. I didn't even get to make a video about it because it was bad timing. It was like probably around October 20th that I went to Missouri, and I was in. It was just the bad weather. It was bad weather, bad timing, all of the above. And then I was in open fields with a compound bow. It just didn't work out for me, right? So I didn't make a video about it. But get back. So I've hunted Missouri, I've hunted Kentucky, I've hunted Tennessee, and this past weekend I set my sights on Alabama. I've got a buck in Alabama that if I can get him to daylight, I'll be there the very next day hunting him. I've already went this past weekend. I got him there at 5:29. I'll pop a picture up of him real fast, if not a little trail cam video. But I've gotten him up at 5:29, so I went. I thought, okay, there's a chance in the next 2 days he might daylight. Needless to say, it was my first trip with new camera gear. I wasn't very efficient at the recording. I got busted by a doe. I do believe that buck got under my tree on Friday night at about 6 o'clock, give or take. So not near enough shooting light. But I was pinned down by deer, so I sat there, and there was something really, really heavy-footed that come in there on me. There is a couple of decent bucks in there, but one of them is what I would consider a true big deer for Alabama, which is not typically known for massive deer, but there are some giants that have lived in Alabama. So anyway, with that being said, I've had a hell of a season. Got some property in Ohio that I can hunt, but there's not been a decent deer show up that would make me drive 6 hours to go hunt it. So I will probably not be a part of that property next year. It's not a very good piece of property. There's been dogs on it repeatedly. The landowner's been on it repeatedly. You know, it's just, and I get it, it's his property. He can do whatever in the hell he wants. But the bottom line is, it's not a good hunting lease, and I won't be a part of it next year. If the guys that I'm in on it with want to be, fine by me. I won't be a part of it. All that to say this, November's come and gone. It's December the 10th, right? So I thought, what better way to go into late season deer hunting than to test your knowledge against AI knowledge. I Googled late season deer hunting. Here's AI's overview. I agree with some of this. Find food. After the rut, deer are depleted of fat and muscle mass. Look for food sources like soybeans, corn, turnips, wheat, acorns, apples, and newly seeded alfalfa. Whatever. I don't care about the choices of food, but I do agree with late season find the food. That seems to be where the most deer action that I'm getting on cameras, trail cams right now, is around food, more so than it is the does. This says find bedding, of course. Look for bedding areas with solar or thermal cover, such as south and southeast facing slopes. I like that. I also like that. You get at the base of those, you've got a pretty good chance. If you're down in the thermal, you've got a good chance of seeing something. You've also got a good chance of being busted. I like that. Hunt the new rut. This one I don't know so much about. I get hunting the new rut, the ones that didn't come in estrus. Alabama has a late rut, so I can appreciate that in Alabama. But this says unbred does re-enter estrus about 28 days after the peak of the primary rut. Look for a hot doe and shadow her. That's like looking for a needle in a haystack and trying to stay on top of it the whole time. That's like finding the needle, throwing it back into the haystack, and trying to find it again. I don't know about all that. Yeah, pay attention to some rut behavior late in the season, but to look for a hot doe and stick with her, yeah, man, let me know how that goes for you. Beef up bedding areas, set up closer to bedding areas because deer are more affected by hunting pressure late in the year. I can agree that they're more affected with hunting pressure late in the year, but if you find bedding, beefing it up, it's all the same thing. Get close to bedding because you might be in a situation again where they're just not moving as far like they are early season. When, here at Tennessee, to kill a deer in velvet in Tennessee, you better be between bedding and food. That's all there is to it. You got to be between them, hope that you pick them off, or you better be right on top of that food, which in Tennessee, it's illegal to hunt over bait. You can still be nearest food source, bean field, cornfield, whatever. Create a pressure plan. Factor hunting pressure into your strategy and use it to your advantage. Well, that's vague. Super vague. Super vague. But there is one scenario that a buddy of mine has told me about, and it is river and lake islands. Can be good hunting late season when the rifle and the hunting pressure comes in. So keep that in mind. Use decoys, deer scent, and a rattle bag. I'll definitely be using decoys late season. I will be using both buck and doe, and they'll be sprayed down. Don't know about the rattle bag. I'll try it. I'll try it in some areas that I'm just not sure about because that's the AI generated tips for hunting late deer season. I'm interested to know what some old timers would say about that stuff. I would say they'd agree with some of it. It says how to hunt deer in late season. Don't be afraid to hunt over a food plot in late season, which I do have several green food plots right now. Mature bucks will be searching for green food sources. Don't be afraid to think out of the box when trying to lure big bucks within bow range. It may take a decoy, deer scent, and a rattle bag to pull a whitetail within bow range. I'm assuming that AI used because that came straight from mossyoak.com. So I'm assuming AI used that and gave you the cliff notes of it. That's from mossyoak.com on January 4th, 2024, when they're trying to give you tips. What is the best bait for deer in late season? Acorns, apples, newly seeded alfalfa, soybeans, brassicas, corn, woody browse, shrub, brushy browse. That came straight from Field and Stream. Again, AI picked that up, gave you the cliff notes, and there it is. So if you trust Field and Stream and if you trust Mossy Oak, that's two of the scenarios that they think you should hunt late season. Here's a good one, though, because I've got a buddy that tried it this year. And I've got an old fella that does a lot of coon hunting, and he'll put peanut butter jar lids, and he will actually screw them to a tree, cut the bottom out of peanut butter, and he will put the jar of peanut butter onto the tree so that coons will come up and eat on it. He says he's got deer that do that. A buddy of mine did that. Didn't get any deer. For the record, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that it has been tried in Tennessee, and bucks will come to mineral, they'll come to corn, and they'll stand right there beside that peanut butter lid, and they will not touch the peanut butter. So this says, does peanut butter attract deer? So the bottom line is, it says literally, so the bottom line is peanut butter can be either an excellent bait for a treat, but never a significant part of their diet. And it also says other critters relish peanut butter as deer do. So, so they're going to tear it up, basically. At the end of the day, there's a lot of different strategies, I'm sure, for late season whitetail hunting. I've done talk to several guys that said their season's over. Rifle started a week ago this past Saturday in Tennessee. I bow hunt year-round. There's a lot of guys that season is over because the rut has, for the most part, came and gone. There is still some bucks chasing some does here and there. They're not fired up like they were, 4 weeks ago, of course, when everything was kicking off. But I'm still after deer. I'm still trying to chase some big bucks. My strategy has went from grunt, rattle, doe, estrus, more to food again. I'm quickly transitioning back to food. I hope it brings me success. I do have at least one good deer that I'm going for, and I have potential to catch it in a rut late season in Alabama. I think their season's open through the middle of February or so. It was last year. And also in Tennessee, I've still got a buck tag, and again, I'm concentrating on food sources for that buck tag more than anything. I'm going to be using decoys in those food sources to try to draw them out, and I will let you know that the whole find a hot doe, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to do, but let me know what some of your strategy is in the comments as far as late season hunting goes, because I have, and I've been reading a lot. I read all kinds of stuff. I watch a lot of videos, but I have seen a flurry of guys say that their biggest deer was killed after December 20th. Biggest deer of their life killed after December. There was December 26th. It was basically from December 20th on. So I'm hoping that works for me. I'm hoping that I can get the biggest deer of my life sometime after December 20th this year. That would be great to me. Hell, it wouldn't bother me if it came on December the 14th, because I plan on hunting this weekend again. I would hunt this week, but I've got family obligations. Can't be doing it this week. I will be setting up some places to hunt for the weekend and next week. But I'd love to hear y'all's opinion about late season deer hunting compared to that AI strategy right there. So if you like the video, give it a comment or a like or a subscribe, or just throw a comment, because I really am truly interested in some late season stuff and what the tactics are that you use. Do you set in a blind more than a tree because now you got less tree cover? Are you sitting on the ground more than a blind? Are you using the ground more than a tree? I know most people are probably on muzzle and rifle, but there's still some bow hunters that bow hunt year round. I would be interested to hear, what your late season success is when the temperatures drop and the food is scarce. Obviously, it's chase the food. That's what I think first and foremost is chase the food, because the bucks are going to be wanting to get replenished. They're going to be trying to get their energy back up and getting ready for that second, estrus of does that comes in. So anyway, let me know what you think and what your strategies are. I'll catch y'all on the next one.